Greetings and welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by fellow hosts Johnny Paulus and Kim Ponticello. Welcome in, Johnny. It's always interesting. I've known you for so long, and it doesn't surprise me at all. It's been 2 weeks since you've seen your fellow host Kim, and the very first thing you ask her isn't, "Hey, how you doing? How's life?"
Nope.
How's things? It's, "Have you watched Andor yet?"
Yeah.
No, we can't be friends anymore. So, Johnny, welcome in, you judgmental bastard.
Yeah.
How are you doing this week?
I'm doing all right, man. I had 2 gigs last weekend. One of which was like sort of a surprise gig. I got a text like a week before that was like, "Hey, you play at Waterman's all the time, and we're doing this lacrosse thing in Glen Burnie, and we want you to play it. What do you charge?" So I tell them the rate, and they're like, "Yeah, could you play for 2 hours on Saturday?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem."
A lacrosse thing? Hold on. I feel like that's a major detail that wasn't discussed here.
So I go to the Moose Lodge Athletic Club in Glen Burnie, and it is a gigantic lacrosse tournament where there are 2 separate lacrosse fields of 2 teams competing on this field and 2 teams competing on that field. And there was and then when that game's done, then the women came on and they had their game. And then when that game was done, the kids came on and they had their, dude, there were fucking hundreds of people there. It was crazy. There were tons of people there.
I don't see how an acoustic guitar act fits into this.
Neither do I, but I was out there with a fucking speaker singing shit while there's people playing lacrosse. I don't know.
Were you playing like the 90s rally hits? Like,
I played my normal
ready for
shit.
this?
I played my normal shit, man. I don't know. It was very bizarre.
So
but then
did Counting Crows completely suck the wind out of the lacrosse field?
Okay, I didn't play round here. I only played 2 hours. I did try to keep it a little upbeat. But no, so then here's what sucked though. So
Johnny loves fucking like the saddest music ever.
It's so true.
He talks to angels as there's like lacrosse going on.
So then I'm done my gig, and I'm like, I get my money, and I'm wrapping all my shit up.
What is a lacrosse practice or event at a Moose Lodge in Glen Burnie pay an acoustic act for 2 hours?
I got $250 for 2 hours.
Hot damn.
Yeah, not bad. So I'm loading all my shit up, and I get in the car, and I drive home, and I go back in the house, and I'm like, where's my fucking did I leave my iPad at the fucking lacrosse championship?
No.
And I'm like, that fucker's definitely gone. All right, I gotta go back down there. I drive all the way back down there to Glen Burnie. I remember where I set it. I set it right on the fucking rafters, right next to where I was playing. And so I drive all the way down there, and fucking iPad's gone.
Oh, no.
And then I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, buying like a refurb iPad for $100, not a big deal. Rebuilding my song list is going to royally suck.
It's not cloud saved?
So then, it is now. I text the guy who booked me and was like, "Hey, I know this is a long shot, but I think I left my iPad there." I don't hear anything from the guy for like a day and a half. And then he texts me back and goes, "Is it in a blue case? I think I have it." And I'm like, Jesus. So yeah, he got my iPad and I got it back. But I've already learned my lesson. I already bought another iPad and I've already loaded all my songs on it. So I now have a full backup. If the one that I have gets dropped into a lake or lost or stolen or whatever, I have another iPad with all my shit on it, just so if that ever happens again.
A little bit extreme.
I mean, it literally, I don't know if you're aware of this, but like basic iPads are literally like $100 now on eBay. Like if you don't need a fancy 2023 model, they're cheap as shit. So I just figured $100, get a $5 case for it, put my shit on it. I've got a backup. So, but yeah, no, that was a scare. But hey, I got it back, so it's all good.
That's still so weird.
I'm so glad you got it.
It was very weird playing a lacrosse.
That is really weird, yeah.
Because like when he described it to me, I thought maybe like there would be like shit going on outside, and I'd be like inside, like where the food is or something. So there'd be like a social area like outside. No, I am outside of the fence, facing the field, performing for the people playing lacrosse. Really weird.
Okay, that's very strange. But whatever. It was a paying gig, so whatever.
Uncomfortable just thinking about being you in that situation. Like, I'm uncomfortable.
It was very odd.
That's like Green Turtle Gambrels on a Friday night when everyone just wants to listen to hip hop and you're off in a corner like playing Amos Lee by yourself. Like,
no, I did Green Turtle Gambrels. I would rather do a gig where I get punched in the balls after every song than play Green Turtle Gambrels again. That shit was
life's hard.
That was like the worst gig. Yeah, no, Green Turtle Gambrels is like top tier worst solo gig I've ever done.
Yeah, I made a lot of money in that place.
Like, dude, I played like Foo Fighters Everlong, fucking killing it. And then you finish it and it's just like crickets. Like,
can you play WAP?
Like,
for real.
Not even like a polite clap. Like, I just got silenced the whole night. And we're talking like packed place. There's people in every table. There's like easily 150, 200 fucking people in that place. Not a clap.
That's a horrible feeling. No thanks.
Rough.
Yeah.
Kim.
Yes.
Welcome in.
Thank you.
How are you doing this week?
I'm doing great.
That's fantastic.
I had a really insane week. I had an amazing event take place. An amazing event. Over the past couple weeks, on our show, I was like, I have something I want to tell everybody so bad, and I couldn't tell everybody. And I finally did it. So I was featured on Dead Island 2 came out on Steam. It was out on Epic previously, and it came out on Steam. And I was one of the featured streamers on the Dead Island 2 Steam page. And it was the coolest thing. It's officially my first like actual sponsored thing. Not like, game keys and stuff like that. This was like a full-on sponsored thing. And it was absolutely amazing. And my buddy Revealing Too Much, who we always talk about, joined me because he is like the most supportive friend in the universe.
Spider Cube.
Oh, Spider Cube. Yep, absolutely. And it was the coolest, most amazing experience. It was daunting. Oh, sorry, hold on. My phone keeps making noise. It was daunting and it was scary. And I'm glad nobody told me how many people were watching until after I was done. Because after I was done, I was like, okay, guys, I'm done on Steam. Like, I was still streaming. I was like, I'm done on Steam. Oh, I can breathe now. And somebody goes, wow, 9,000 viewers. And I was like, yeah, okay. And they were like, no, seriously. And I'm like, yeah, right. And they were like, no, seriously. And so my son sent me a screenshot, and the screenshot he sent me was like 9,200 viewers. And I was like, thank you so much for not saying anything while I was streaming, because I would have been like, I like would have lost my mind. So yeah, it was really amazing. And they're still doing replays all through the week. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And it was so much fun. And I mean, granted, there were definitely some trolls. There were people complaining. It's the most ridiculous thing. We had, thankfully, my buddy Fred Rock. So my buddy Fred Rock is a QA. He works in QA for Digital Extremes on Warframe. And he's really knowledgeable and very patient and such a cool guy. And so he was over on Steam because I didn't know I had to have mods, and I didn't know how to make I didn't even know Steam had a chat. Okay. So people were in chat and they were like, I don't want the Epic launcher. This game is garbage because I need the Epic launcher. And I was like, you don't need the Epic launcher. I don't even know what you're talking about. And so Fred went over there to like kind of like smooth things over, but there were last I saw it had mixed reviews because people kept saying you need the Epic launcher. You literally do not need the Epic launcher to play that game on Steam.
That would make so much sense though if you did, right? No.
I mean, you do for some Ubisoft games. Some Ubisoft games you need to, open up in the Ubisoft launcher.
Sure.
So it was, there was that aspect that was a little bit overwhelming, but it was a really, really cool experience. And PlayOn is, they were really great to work with, and this was their first time ever doing it. Like they've never done a Steam stream. And so I was the first one to go on. So I was literally the guinea pig. And it was really, really cool. And they were just so good to work with. I mean, they were in my Twitch chat trying to help me out. And in my, I was on DMs with another one that I've been talking to throughout the past few weeks, getting all this set up. And it was very, very cool. And I would love to work with them again. PlayOn, I'd love to work with you again. So yeah, that's that.
That's super.
So awesome.
That's super cool. It's like, yay, 9,000 people's fucking ridiculous. By the way, like if you go on Twitch
crazy.
and just like look at most viewed, it's like within the first 10 people that you get to numbers less than that.
I was like blown away. And we were what's really cool is when I was streaming, we were the second most watched Steam stream that day.
That's
while I was streaming,
cool.
which is really awesome. Like I'm so excited for them because it was, it's so exciting to put the game out on Steam. Like it's like one of those moments. It's like we're finally putting our game on Steam. And so it was so exciting for them. I was so excited for them because I'm like, oh my God, like this is really going well, yeah, except for the complaints and whatever. But like, the fact that so many, considering we had 9,200 people watching and I had maybe 5 trolls, they were just loud, but everybody else was so cool. And they were like, are you loving the game? Do you think I should get it? It was honestly such a cool experience. Yeah.
Did you plug the podcast?
I didn't plug the podcast.
That's okay. That's.
I'm just kidding. It's fine.
That's the podcast. I don't talk about how the show does very often. The show I bring it up every now and again. The podcast does pretty well on its own. So
I talk about it on stream a lot. Like
we've been doing the thing for, gosh, what, Johnny? Since 2021.
Yeah,
was when we started it. And I mean, there is a fiercely loyal following. Who
awesome.
I guess it's probably good for me to say something to my fiercely loyal followers because I keep I've been so goddamn busy with this new job. So here's the good news. For those that don't know like exactly what I do, because I don't really get into specifics, I sell audio-visual equipment, which means schools are a big part of my business. And this is like, we're nearing the end of the fiscal spending year for schools. I'm on a new job that I'm kind of green at, so things take me a little longer than they should. And all these schools are just going fucking nuts right now, spending their money.
Yeah.
And I mean, no lie, I think the past 2 weeks, on average, I've worked about 60 hours each week. And that's getting home, firing back up the computer, and just trying to keep my head above water. So yeah, it kind of fell into like this thing of like once every couple of weeks. I wasn't even planning for that. It's just I've been so busy that it just kind of worked out that way. But that is not the plan to do going forward. The plan is to get things back on track, keep my feet under me, because this is fun, and it's really not super hard to do. I know it sounds like a lot when I say, oh yeah, I write, edit, produce, publish, and all this shit with the show, but honest to God, it really doesn't take that much time to do all those things. So I've just been that busy that I haven't had like the hour that I need to do prep. You can't just do nothing and fire off a podcast. Like that's not real life. You do have to do some prep work each week to get things moving. And so yeah, to my fiercely loyal fans who have been messaging me going, what the fuck? I am sorry. And I'll do better here, but just kind of bear with me. I didn't expect to get laid off for Christmas. Okay. Jeez, calm down, you fuckers. And I guess that kind of summates how I've been doing this past week. I guess the only other exciting thing to say, this fucking sick Dragon Ball shirt, that's nice, loose, and comfortable. Yeah, I was so fat I couldn't even like get this thing over my stomach at the beginning of the year. Now it's loose, and I'm so glad to have my Goku back. So,
and Mike, you've got me on the stevia train. I've completely kicked aspartame. I'm now either
Oh, that's good for you. Stevia,
seltzer water,
aspartame's so bad.
so bad
seltzer
for you.
water or stevia, or I have like a big bag of stevia, so I'll make a whole pitcher of tea and I'll just sweeten it with stevia, and that's all I've been drinking. And I've lost like 10 pounds in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna
Wow.
say, I don't think it's just the camera angle here, Johnny. Your head looks smaller.
Well, I did get a haircut, which is helping a little bit. But yeah, I know I've lost like 10 pounds.
Yeah, no, it's incredible just how fucked up the amount of sugar that's in everything and how much that contributes. Especially to us older guys.
Yeah.
Just being completely unable to lose weight. So yeah, if you are feeling like a fat, worthless bastard, you might want to investigate cutting added sugar out of your diet. And if you can stomach the title of the book, The Obesity Code, strong recommend. You will feel like a piece of shit the entire process of buying it. Typing on your keyboard, obesity code, going to Amazon, adding it to your, you will feel like the slimiest, fattest, most pathetic fuck the entire time you're purchasing it. But I promise you, it contains invaluable information. That should just be common knowledge, but for whatever reason, it's not. So check that out if you are feeling fat and disgusted with yourself. It's a great tool to fix that.
Well, so that's what got me going on this. Is you talked a bit about that book, and then I started doing some research on my own, and I actually found a really great YouTube video where this guy went through basically all of the sweeteners, and he went worst to best. And obviously, we all know the worst is high fructose corn syrup, right? That's number one.
Which
and
is in goddamn everything.
Which is in everything. But then he goes through like dextrose.
I mean, there's a reason it's illegal in Europe. I'm just saying.
He goes through dextrose and sucralose and all the different, like, there's like sugars, alcohol, and all that shit. And one of the things I didn't realize about aspartame, one of the problems with aspartame is that when you ingest it, your body goes, oh shit, we got some sugar coming, and releases insulin. And then when you're not ingesting actual sugar, your body goes, hey, asshole, you should go eat some chips now because we have all this insulin we got to fucking process. Yep. So just drinking the Diet Coke makes you crave more food because your body is making insulin, and your body's like, okay, you told me there's sugar and there's no sugar, so you need to go get some sugar now. And but yeah, he went through the whole list, and then at the very bottom of the list, which meant the top best sweetener, is stevia, because it's literally just a plant.
They have agave on there?
Agave was not rated well.
No, agave
I was curious. It's
also bad.
Yeah.
Same reason. It's all just about insulin control.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, as Kim alluded to, this is a video gaming podcast.
It is.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah, Kim's been up to video games as we all should be. We're gonna delve into that pretty thick this week. You guys are gonna enjoy this episode. So welcome in to episode 156 of your Power Gamer podcast. We appreciate your kindness and support, especially for that last episode. Well done. I guess we struck a chord talking about Star Wars Outlaws and all the ridiculous and predictable takes that have been floating around online with that game. So we seem to have struck a chord. Many of you checked out that episode. So we thank all of you that liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel. And of course, for all the nice reviews and 5-star reviews on audio platforms. We appreciate the hundreds of you that check out this show. So on this week's episode of the Power Gamer podcast, well, we had that extra week off, didn't we? So there was a lot of time to play some goddamn video games. And that's what we're going to talk about this week. And I'm open to talking as deeply about the games that we've been playing as you all would like to. Okay, so free pass to discuss whatever it is that you want to discuss about the games as in depth as you want, because this week, that is the order of business. We're going to talk about the games we've been playing and give people a good old-fashioned episode of the Power Gamer podcast to enjoy as they drive to work or sit around the house in their work from home situation, or blare us through their headphones so they don't have to listen to their sniveling coworkers in the office. That's right. We've got you covered. We're going to talk about the games that we've been playing now, and we got some pretty nice lists here. I'm going to break form a little bit and go first. If that's okay. I'm going to go first.
Fine, do it.
There's this game that many of us were familiar with in the current age group that I am a part of, because back in the day, in PC gaming's kind of early stages of becoming awesome, there were many of us that had shit computers, namely the compact Presario 486. That's what your boy had, running all Windows 95 in all of its glory. But there was one game that had our backs. Oh yes, just like Taco Bell was there for you when you were broke, when your PC was a steaming pile of shit, it could still run Star Wars Rebel Assault 2. So yeah, if you didn't have the rig to run X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, which is probably what you wanted to be playing, you were instead playing Star Wars Rebel Assault 2. Now, I've been doing a lot of gaming on my PlayStation lately, and to my delight, what popped up on PlayStation Plus this past week? None other than Star Wars Rebel Assault 2. I said, oh man, I gotta get on this. So that game did come to the PlayStation 1, and that is the version that is now on PlayStation 5. And I am so pleased to report it's just as fucking terrible as I remember it back in the 90s. Oh yes, you start off with the very rare but well treated Alliance starfighter in Rebel Assault 2. Your first mission is dogfighting in a B-wing. If you're nerdy enough to understand what I'm talking about, you're like, man, that's fucking strange. No other game does that. That's right. No other game does that except Rebel Assault 2. And yeah, the game's still tough as fucking nails, and it's a lot of fun. It doesn't really make any sense. Anything that's happening on the screen in front of you, you just need to keep moving that cursor around and praying to Jesus that you hit those TIE fighters. And the acting and the cutscenes, I mean, that's why you're there, because it looks like the old 70s movies, and it's corny and terrible and great all at the same time. So if you've got your PS Plus account and you're like, man, Rebel Assault 2, that was such an integral part of my childhood, fire it up. Or if you never played it and want to be frustrated as fuck at me for recommending this game, give it a little download and take it for a whirl. I promise you nothing. I promise you nothing. I promise you that you will be entertained by the cutscenes, and you will be contemplating ways to end your life with the controller whenever gameplay starts, because it is that fucking bad.
I'm watching video of it right now.
Oh,
it is rough.
No video can do justice to how poorly it actually plays.
It looks like it's about 10 frames a second.
That's
and the
being
entire
generous.
Cockpit is like a static image.
That's being generous, Johnny. You're being very generous. Play Star Wars Rebel Assault 2. You most certainly will regret it.
You will regret it.
Yes. Now on to the more interesting thing. So Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm pretty deep in the 7 remake at this point. I just finished or about to finish chapter 11. I did take a peek-see to know that there's 18 chapters in this game, so I'm well past the halfway point. I can kind of put 2 and 2 together that this game's going to end after the Shinra Tower sequence, or at least that's my gut feeling. Which I guess is cool, because that would be right where the Midgar sequence ends in the actual Final Fantasy VII. So, kind of putting all the puzzle pieces together, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because I've heard Rebirth, big open world. You know, that's the part of the old 97 game where you leave Midgar and you get to the world map for the first time, and like your mind explodes because you thought the whole thing was probably just going to take place in Midgar, and then it doesn't. So I'm putting my money that that's where Remake ends. Of course, most of you have beaten it at this point because it's an older game. But I think I've figured it out. I'm big braining this. And I really like it. I think it's great. I think it looks better than a lot of PS5 games.
Agreed.
It just plays wonderfully. So I am going to be a bit burnt on Final Fantasy VII by the time I finish this, because I did just replay the 97 original. I'm playing this, so I might need a little Final Fantasy break after this. Maybe I just downloaded the Stellar Blade demo, so I think it might be time for some Stellar Blade. But having a great time with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm kind of ashamed it took me so long to get to it. The game that's really got my attention is Dave the Diver. Holy shit, this game is good. I'm about 15 hours in on Dave the Diver, and I cannot get enough of it. And what's weird, Kim, Johnny, is it's most definitely a roguelike.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the way Dave the Diver works is it's got roguelike components, I should say. And a really strong story with cutscenes and quests that go on behind it. The way Dave the Diver works is your day is broken up into 3 segments: morning, afternoon, and evening. You can go for a dive in the morning, you can go for a dive in the afternoon, and at night, you go work the sushi bar. So kind of like Moonlighter in that sense.
Yeah, that's what it's reminding me of, is Moonlighter.
What you do during your dives is you've got different missions and quests that you can work on in the diving world. It is a static world that takes place in. There's a couple of maps that'll generate, but they're the same. So like what you're getting when you dive into the water at different phases of the game. So you can kind of memorize your way through the underwater world, and it's not that big, so it's actually kind of easy to learn your way around. And you're looking for different weapons, you're looking for different treasures and fish. You're trying to capture the fish, because at nighttime you take all the fish that you've caught and you open up your sushi restaurant. And then it becomes like, those mobile games like where you have to make the food and serve it to people. It's kind of like one of those. But then like you can start hiring staff to help you serve your customers, and it's got everything that if an ADD person plays this game, they are gone. See ya. Gone.
That's what I'm afraid of.
It's absolute crack for that kind of mind. And it even has me sucked in. I'm like the complete opposite, where I'm just like, this loop is so good for the gameplay. And I really like the story. I really like the combat. There is some combat in this. You have to fight fucking sharks off, but then you slice them up and send their meat to the sushi restaurant. And it's like, wow, that's really cool. There's cute pink squid pets. I mean, you name it. This game's got it going on. And it's really fun. It's really well done. It's super beautiful. I really like everything about it. It's got a little bit of Stardew Valley going on. You get some farms later in the game where you can farm like rice, and you get fish farms and stuff. So, I mean, this game's definitely designed to be lived in for a while. But the story's just unbelievably good that's going on in the background. And it has a very linear story happening alongside of this day-to-day based cycle. And it's really, really fun. And what's most impressive, again, for my PlayStation fiends out there, if you've got PlayStation Plus, it was added as a day and date, the day it was released on PlayStation. It is a free game for you to get if you have the PlayStation Plus service. So you just download it and start playing it, and it's fantastic. It also works really, really good if you do the streaming from your PlayStation. So I've been playing a ton of this with my backbone up in bed, or on my lunch breaks at work. It works really well for that. So can't recommend it enough. I really hope the two of you get a chance to sit down with this game some. Especially Kim. This game has everything that I know that you go absolutely nuts for.
I know.
And I mean, even if you considered streaming and it's paced in a way that you could do.
Oh, I'd stream that. That's why I haven't played it yet.
You can do your thing while you're playing it because it's paced very, very nicely, and it's easy to avoid bad things while you're playing it and just kind of get lost and explore and have fun. Oh, and there's seahorse races. Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
I'm in.
Come on.
Yep.
Really, really loving Dave the Diver. So, hopefully, I haven't even looked at the time to beat on this game. I'm going to guess it's probably like around the 25, 30 hour mark.
I don't remember. I know I looked it up at one point.
Yeah, I'm around 15 on it. So I definitely got a ways to go still. That's
24.
Yep. That was the feeling. I'm like, I definitely got a ways to go still. And with me playing two games kind of concurrently, yeah, it'll take me a little bit longer, but I'm having so much fun with it. This is going to be another game that I'm like sad when I finally get through it. So, definitely check it out. All right, that wraps up what I've been playing. Did I miss anything? Did I? No. Kim?
No. Yes.
I'm going to bring it to you next. Tell us about what you've been playing this week.
So many games. Okay. So I am completely and utterly, I literally have to fight the urge to play Once Human. And the reason I'm fighting it is because it's still in beta. And so everything's going to get wiped except for the blueprint of your house and like the outfit that you can get from the event, right?
Do you have clothes yet?
No, I'm not wearing clothes. I keep them invisible. I mean, I have them. I have armor and stuff because like you have to, like the fights are hard, so you need armor, but you can make them invisible. So if you have armor that the game says, hey, you can also hide these, why wouldn't I hide them? Have you seen my character's cheeks?
It's
you know what I'm saying?
They really were like, Stellar Blade, hold my beer.
Dude, my character has like a big tattoo on her chest and tattoos on her arms. I'm going to hide those babies? Get out of here, man. So no, I still walk around naked. I still walk around with a fish on my backpack because that's what I used to beat things up with. And it is an absolutely amazing game and I can't get enough of it, but I'm like, I don't want to explore everything because I really want to wait for the game to release so that I can experience it once it releases on stream. I want to I'm part of their creator program now. And so I want to experience it when it comes out. But every night I'm like, maybe I'll play a little bit, but I did I built a bunch of stuff and I kind of putz around in that way. I go and I explore and Lumi and my buddy Lumi and I will get on late at night. And he's like, you want to go see what's in this area? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. So we ended up moving our houses because there's this area I fell in love with. So but the game is absolutely fantastic. It runs really well, especially for an MMO. It runs astoundingly well. I love that there's world voice chat. One day I was on a pier fishing. My naked ass was on a pier fishing. And I hear somebody go, it's beautiful here. And I was like, hit my push to talk and I was like, isn't it pretty here? And she was like, it is really beautiful. I'm like, I know, but you can't build here because it's a settlement. So you can't build anywhere around here, but it's really this would be a perfect place to build. She's like, I know, I'm going to go look for a place close by. So it's so cool that you can interact with everybody. And it's a genuine MMO, but sci-fi and really weird. The enemies are bizarre. And the fact that once a day you have this bus that you can get a crate from, but the bus comes walking down the street and has gigantic legs and hands for feet and walks toward you. And if it steps on you, you go flying. And then it lands and it blares the horn and you have to run in and grab the stuff from the crate and it spawns enemies. And then you're and you're running away because I'm living in a high power area now. And it is the most bizarre thing. And creatures with they like have like cameras for heads, and they turn to face you, and they're like, and it like makes you like walk slow motion. The game is so bizarre and so out there, and I am so in love with it. And like even like the systems of like, okay, so I have a garden, right? But it needs irrigation, and so I set up irrigation for it, and so it does best with purified water. And so the way it works is you have water pumps, and you put those in the water, right? And then you have to connect those to electricity. So I have solar panels. I also have a hydraulic generator. So you connect those to power, and then you also connect it via like connecting pipes, and you connect that to a smaller water pump, which then that smaller water pump pumps the dirty water into your purifiers. And then you have connectors going from your purifier down to your storage tank. And then you connect your storage tank to the irrigation. So like the systems in this game, and like all of your stuff has to be like electrified, and you can like have the wires just dangling, but you like get achievements if you like route it with like the little transformers going down the wall. And like this game is so good. The game is so good. It's so ridiculous.
That's some SimCity shit right there.
It is such a good game.
I have a confession to make, Kim.
Yeah.
I don't believe you. I think this game is made up, and every time you talk about it, I think you're just making up stuff off the top of your head.
Dude, it sounds like something I would make up.
And a fish on your backpack. No, I'm not buying
These are the types of things that my brain would think up. I'm not even lying to you. I mean, for Pete's sake, I started writing a book, and one of the creatures is an angler called a dangler because the light hangs down and they have legs underneath and the mouth is under its belly, right? Okay, fine, whatever. That is my brain. I admit that. This game is so weird. And it's like, to have a sci-fi shooter MMO with like survival and building and like the complex, if you have your purifier up high, you have to have the mini water pump in order for the big water pump to get into the purifier, because the purifier is up here so it can get down into storage.
How do you figure all of this out? I feel like I'd start connecting things and be like, it's not fucking working. Fuck this.
I think it was like one of those like common sense things. I don't know. Like I started putting things.
I would get frustrated. I'd be like, this isn't
I started
pumping.
putting
I don't
stuff,
get it.
and I was like, because you can see which way the water's flowing when you go into the build menu.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, it's not flowing that way. Aha, hold on. So I'm gonna have to, because at first I had the purifier right next to the storage thing, and I'm like, this isn't working. How come? Aha, I bet you it has to, like, you either have to use another water pump or it has to be higher. So I put them up on a platform. Sure enough, they started going down, and I was like, okay, so now let me get water from the lake to put into the purifier, so I'm not always having to add water to it manually. And then I look and I'm like, well, that's not working. So I look in my menu and I'm like, oh, there's a little water pump that like makes it go up, It's so cool.
That's crazy.
The game is awesome, and I'm really liking it a lot, and I can't wait for full release. And even though it's a beta, it's already running so well, and it's so clean. The combat is so fun. It's definitely, I think it's going to do really, really well, and it's supposed to be free to play when it comes out, which is pretty awesome. So
making me reminisce on my favorite big brain game. I'm like, man,
what's up?
I'm sitting here listening to you talking. I go, I should probably fire up Star Citizen just so I don't forget how to fucking play it.
Oh yeah, that's your big brain game. Yeah, one day it'll release, right?
No,
like in 50 years or so.
It's fine how it is, honestly. But.
Yeah. So the other game I've been playing, it's been my guilty pleasure game. So for anybody familiar with streaming, one of the sites you can use is called Stream Elements. And Stream Elements offers you sponsorships. And they're like, it's Raid Shadow Legends, okay? Which people can make fun of Raid Shadow Legends, but I made a lot of money on my Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship, okay? So I kind of like sit on these all the time because I'm like, what if nobody wants to do it, right? Like the streamer's biggest fear, I'm going to fail. But I was like, well, so what? Like, so what? That I won't make money, who cares? But let me just try it. So I fire up this AFK Journey game, which just came out. We were up last night. I wasn't even streaming it. A few of us were in voice chat last night playing it, and I was like, I can make a guild. So I made a guild, and like, I love this game. It is ridiculous. And it quite literally is like one of the battles you can do is an AFK battle, and you literally press auto battle. And then like I sit here and I like eat a bowl of cereal and I watch my guys fight, you know? And it's like, but it's so pretty looking and the characters are real cool. And it's a sponsorship. And so a bunch of people are playing it and it benefits me. It like supports me, you know? So it's honestly a really fun game. I'm really liking it.
I'm checking it
And
out
I'm
right now
ashamed to
on
say.
the Google Play Store, because I guess it's primarily hoping to kill it on the mobile market. It looks really beautiful.
Yeah. If you guys decide you want to play it, I'll give you a link because you have to use my link.
Yeah, shoot me one. Hopefully it'll work for my
Okay.
my phonesy.
We can put it on the YouTube as well.
Has to be on PC.
Oh, okay.
Has to be on PC for it to count. So, yeah, for my
That's fine.
sponsorship.
Just as long as they let me use my Google account.
I've also been playing. I think so.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I know it does because I'm looking at it right now. And it just says install. So,
oh, okay. Don't install it.
I won't. Don't worry. I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
All right. So I've also been playing Spongebob Battle for Bikini Bottom because I did that bright idea of you can use channel points to enter a lottery and I put you on a spin wheel and then you could decide what game to pick out of my big bowl of games. And Ash, who loves to torture me, Ash is I shouldn't even say Ash. Literally my entire community loves to torture me. And she was like, Spongebob. And I was like, all right, fine. Yeah, I know. So, so I've been playing Spongebob and I thought it was going to be like a story, but it's really just like a run around and collect everything game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I have to say about that.
It's a classic.
It's hard for me.
Classic.
Because because my brain, I want reward, right? So I'm like, I'm collecting all these things. I want reward. I want to move on to the next part. And it's like, you can't yet because you didn't collect enough of them. Go do the same thing again. And I'm like, I don't want to do the same thing again. I want to continue and I want to progress and feel like I've done something because that's how I like to do things. No, go back and get all of Patrick's dirty socks. It's ridiculous, but I'm playing it. And I'm too stubborn to say I'm not going to finish it. So
just like Walking Dead.
Just like Walking Dead. I was invested.
What's more painful, this or Walking Dead?
Walking Dead. A million times Walking Dead. Because this I haven't raged on. This just gets kind of boring to me. But Walking Dead, literally, Walking Dead made me want to put hand sanitizer in my eyes. That game, I will never forgive you.
That reminds me, you need to because I don't even remember when it was. You need to resend me your shipping address so I can get Gollum out to you.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Just great. I can't wait. Into my mind.
We got to get the Gollum going.
Oh my god.
Gotta get the Gollum going.
I can't wait.
Everybody's gonna be so happy.
I can't wait.
Yeah. I popped back on Mirage again because they were doing an event. So I popped on Mirage, and it's funny because I popped on it real quick and I was like, I'll just play for a few hours because there's an event. And I ended up spending my whole 7-hour stream playing it because I forget how much I love it. You know, I really like Mirage a lot. I think they did a good job with it. And it's such a throwback to the old Assassin's Creed games. And feels...
The stealth is fucking great in that
So fun. It is so fun. So, I've really been liking that again. And I really want to finish it. So that's on my list of I'm going to finish this game on stream. That's one of those games for me. I played Outlast Trials yesterday with my buddy Ray Morvone.
That game's ridiculous.
That game is insanity. Like, I don't know, for any of you listening, I'm telling you right now, if you are religious and devout, you're not going to want to watch. I'm telling you right now. Number one, if you're squeamish, you're not going to want to watch. If you don't want to see penises in a game, you don't want to watch. It is the most... I can't even describe it, how disgusting that game is. And I also cannot describe how much I love that damn game.
Does it have more dong in it
obscene.
In the first 2 hours of Alan Wake 2?
You know what it is? I want to say yes, because you do the same quests again, because like you have to do harder modes. And like it wasn't quite as obvious. Like in Outlast Trials, there's quite literally one of the quests you go on is it's called something like destroy the blasphemers or something like that. And so you go into this church and there's like all these kids that are getting ready for communion and there's a jukebox playing and you have to turn the jukebox off because it's like, you're all blasphemers, you know? And so then you hit a button and out comes a person who is crucified, completely naked. And you have to find the pieces required for this thing, this saw. And then you use W and S. One person's on one side, one person's on the other side, and you saw their legs off, right? And then once they're done being sawed off, you push a button and blood pours from the ceiling as they yell the blood of Christ, and legs fall onto the plate because that's the body of Christ. And that's why if you're devout, do not watch this game. It is so offensive and so obscene, and I love every moment of it. I soak that game up and I love it. And it's terrifying and hysterical, and it's Outlast but multiplayer, and it's mind-blowing, and it is such a good time. And the in-game chat is so clear. The in-game chat is so clear, but also like when you're next to each other, it literally sounds like you're just next to each other. But if you're next to each other in a metal area, there's reverb everywhere. And if you're not next to each other, you hear over a walkie-talkie and you sound like the person's a mile away. It is so good. It is probably one of the best multiplayer games that have come out over the past few years. But it's not for the squeamish.
Yeah,
it's
nothing
really terrible.
Outlast is. That's
no,
a great
Outlast is
hardcore horror series. Very good.
Yeah, I love it. I played a game called Whisker Waters, got it from the publishers. Amazing concept of a game. Freaking adorable. You are a cat and you are trying to become a part of the Fish Ranger Association. And you're a fisherman. And it's really adorable. And the fishing is really cute. Nice, cool little mechanics. It's a great little game. But they definitely, I can't play it for long. My biggest complaint is there's no setting to turn off motion blur. And when you move, so when you're moving, if you press A to go left, the camera turns a little bit. Like you're kind of like strafing, but the camera's turning. And so the camera's always doing this. And even if you go over rocks, the camera does this a little bit. And it's a little bit too much. Like it definitely gets me like, oh, like I feel a little bit like spilkish, I think is a good word. I don't know. But I definitely feel a little bit like queasy when I'm playing it. But the concept and the graphics are absolutely adorable. The cats are so freaking cute and the fishing is fun. So I'm hoping that they put more settings on it. It literally just came out. I got early access to it and then it just came out today. I think it came out. So I'm hoping they do some stuff to it to, you know, just some quality of life improvements with the camera and stuff like that. Cause I will play the hell out of this game. It's so cute. It's adorable. Yeah, I'm really digging it.
I just pulled up a YouTube of it. It is very, very cute.
It is so cute. Concept, absolutely adorable. Gameplay, super cute. Controls, the camera is really what it is. Field of view, motion blur, and don't always have my camera moving. I think would be spot on. The game is so cute. Oh my gosh, it's adorable. And then finally, I got No Rest for the Wicked from the publishers, and I was so excited.
That's that
obviously, you know, it's made by the people
looking game, right?
That game looks awesome.
Yes, kind of.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre. It's a really different genre. It's very, very different. It didn't get a very great reception because it needs optimization. But scenery, fighting, I really loved everything about it. It just needs to be optimized, honestly, in my opinion. The fights are hard, but it is classified as a Souls light. So it's supposed to be hard. You know, it's supposed to be a hard game. And it's really fun, and I really like it. And I was supposed to play more of it this week, and actually today I think I was going to play more of it, and I just wasn't feeling well all day today, so I was like, I'm going to take it easy. We ended up chatting for most of the stream, but
it's one of the prettier isometric games I've seen in a very long time.
It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game. The voice acting spectacular. I definitely recommend it, but it does need optimization. Like, I'm running a 4070 and a Ryzen 5 5600X, and on high settings I think I was getting 70 FPS.
Wow, that's crazy.
So it could use some optimization for sure. But I really like it, and I really like the gameplay, and I feel like nobody's really talking about it, which is kind of wild to me. You know, it's made by the same people who did Ori.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very, very different. And it's nobody's really talking about it, but I think it's really amazing. I think it's a really beautiful game, and it's well done. It's different. It's very different, and I really like it. So yeah, I'm hoping more people kind of pick it up and say, hey, this is kind of cool, you know. But it's not easy. It's not easy. So yeah, that's that. That's my week. That's my 2 weeks.
That's a fat list.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep.
Johnny?
Yeah.
Your list is a little thinner, but I know there's a lot of meat going on in there. What have you been up to this past couple of weeks?
Well, first off, at the end of the last episode, after you talked about Balatro, I went and I bought it, and I started playing it literally that night, and I've played it a little bit here and there almost every day since. I think I have 18 hours into it. I still have not finished the 8th ante yet.
Oh, damn.
I've tried many, many, many times, and I just can't quite get there.
Lady Luck has not been on your side, then?
No, Lady Luck's not been on my side. I will say, I think the thing that's cool about Balatro is it's like universally good. Like, my dad could sit and play this game. Like, it's a very, like, anyone who's ever sat and like lost a night playing digital poker at a casino could sit and play this game. But you know, it's here's your cards. What's the best poker hand you can make? You can discard up to 5 cards, and we'll redraw, and you have X amount of discards per round. And then, you know, but you start out with 52 regular playing cards. And then at the end of that round, there's a shop. And it's like, here's this joker, here's that joker. Well, this joker is going to increase the multiplier every time you score by 4 if it's a heart card. And you go, huh, sounds pretty good. Let me throw that on there. So you spend your $4 on that, and then now you have a regular 52 card deck, but every time you're playing something with a heart, you're hitting that multiplier. And then the next time it comes to the shop, it goes, hey, buy a planet booster pack. I'm like, all right, you buy a planet booster pack, and each one of those increases the level of one hand of poker. So there's a planet for high card, there's a planet for pair, 3 of a kind, 2 pair, full house, straight flush, all that shit. And each time they level up, it means that whenever you play that hand, you're going to get more points, right? So cool. Now I have my joker, and I've leveled up, 3 of a kind as an example. And then you get to the next shop, and there's another joker there, and it says, every time you play a joker, your multiplier gets added permanently to this card. So every time you play a 3 of a kind, it's going to add a multiplier to this card. And you're like, shit. Well, all right, I got to play a whole bunch of 3 of a kinds, right? So you start doing like 3 of a kind meta, and if you got some hearts on there, and then you go back to the shop and it says, here, buy some tarot cards, and the tarot cards let you alter your playing cards that are in your deck. So for example, there's one tarot card that says convert up to 3 cards to a diamond, or convert up to 3 cards to a heart. So in the example we're given, you see the heart, you're going done. You select a diamond, a club, and a whatever, and you change them all to hearts, and now you have more hearts in your deck because you're doing a 3 of a kind heart build. But there are also tarot cards that will let you destroy a card. Like, get the 2s and 3s out of here. I want to get to my kings, queens, and aces. There are also tarot cards that will let you choose one card and turn it into another card. There are also tarot cards that will turn the card gold or steel or add a multiplier or make it a wild. So throughout this roguelike experience, you're not only adding these jokers that are basically cheating the game, you're also altering your playing cards. So, and then another thing I didn't mention is then there are booster packs that just have playing cards in them. So you'll open it up and be like, sweet, I got another ace. So now my deck has 5 aces in it. And you get to round 5 or 6 and shit. Now I got 8 aces in my deck. And I've got all these hearts and I've got all this. But the whole time you're playing this roguelike experience, you gain interest based on how much money you have at the end of the round. So there is an incentive to try to hold on to some of this money. But when you hold on to that money and you're not boosting your card and you're not buying that joker, it's then harder to hit the ante on the next round. So it's this really fun, delicate balance between, do I spend the money or do I hold on it? That's a good joker, but it's not great for the kind of the angle I'm going this playthrough. But then the real challenge with this game is after your small blind and medium blind, you then have your big blind, which is like the boss of each one of these antes. Each one of them has a debuff. So you'll get to that boss and it'll say, every card you played this round is debuffed. So that those 3 aces that you played on the second round, they're all debuffed. They give you no points whatsoever. There's also a boss that will like debuff your most played poker hand. So in the example I gave, let's say we're going 3 of a kind, right? And we're blasting through round 3 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 3 of a kind. We get to that boss, 3 of a kind is debuffed. 3 of a kind means nothing. And you have this joker in there, and you have this other joker here doing this, and they're all going 3 of a kind, 3 of a kind, but you get to that boss that goes, I don't give a fuck. That don't mean shit. And it is endlessly addictive. And it is something that it's one of those few games like Minesweeper or like Microsoft Solitaire where you could set me in front of a computer at any stage in my life and I could sit down and play this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could, I shit you not, you could give this game to your grandfather, show him how to fucking get through it, and he'd be hooked. It's great. I love everything about it. I'm 17, 18 hours in, and the only question I have for Mike is, what the fuck worked for you? How did you beat the 8th ante?
Flush, but make a flush deck.
Just make a flush deck.
So 4 of the jokers give a multiplier based on sweet. So my strategy was I did the joker that grows in multiplier every time you play the same hand.
Okay. Yep, that's one of my favorites.
I had heart and club.
Okay.
And then there's this one for pi. So it's the numbers of pi that get
the Fibonacci.
The Fibonacci card. Mm-hmm. If you can pair a few of those together and just do a flush build, and then whenever you get planets, just only focus on flush. That crushes, and it's really easy to do a flush build. So because you just sort by sweet and just dump everything that's not in that. And I mean, you're just one shot your whole way through. No problem.
Okay, cool.
So I would recommend making a flush deck.
But yeah, strong recommend for this game. And there's other mechanics I didn't even mention. You can choose to skip a round, which will give you a bonus, a thing. So like it'll tell you what it is ahead of time. So you can always make the decision of, I've got a good pace going. I think I can beat the next round if I skip one. I've got a decent amount of money, so let me skip this one because that's going to give me 2 bonus planets that I can use right now. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a universally great game. Like, I'm literally considering telling my dad about it. I think he'd fucking love it.
Also, big congrats to it. It broke $1 million in sales, so that's huge for a very like indie poker-based poker game.
Awesome.
They're crushing it. And when they come to mobile, they're just going to destroy.
Oh yeah,
dude! I want this game on mobile so bad. It needs to be on mobile. They're gonna absolutely destroy it.
If you have it on PlayStation, you can just do the second screen. It's great.
Yep. So I've been playing a lot of Balatro, but I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy Rebirth. I have broken 110 hours
Oh my god,
in
that's
Final
a
Fantasy
lot.
VII Rebirth. I am now to the point in the game where you have a decision to make in a very large game like this. You start to smell the end of the game is sort of around the hill, and you make the decision of, well, fuck it, let's just beat this thing, or you go, nah, let's go back and clean the map. Let's get all the summons. Let's get all of our enemy abilities. And that's where I'm at right now, is I'm like going back to the early zones, any of the shit that I skipped, any of the shit that I couldn't do at the time and can now, like, one shot it without even trying. So I'm going back and backtracking it. I do have one rant. I have one new rant on this game.
It's a poor game.
When you get to the Gongaga region in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the jungle area, there is a part of the sound. There's a musical, theme to that zone. And when you first get to that area, there's a pared down version of that theme. And here's the problem with the pared down version of that theme. It has one really fucking annoying bagpipey sort of thing that goes. And then shortly after, there's like these kids yelling gibberish in the background, like rhythmically. I guess it's supposed to sound like a tribe, but it's literally like, sounds like, I don't know, a classroom full of 6-year-olds going, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, and the melody for the song is, it's so
That's
fucking
just like
bad.
the original.
Okay, fine. Now here's the thing. Later on, when you get further into the Gongaga region, there is like a full expanded version of this theme that has choir and additional accompaniment and strings, and the children yelling is much quieter. And that version of the song does not bother me at all. But there was like 2 entire days where this pared down version of the soundtrack, and another reason why it's really fucking annoying is it's like 2 minutes long. So it's like, it kind of goes down, it gets sort of quiet, and then it builds, and then you're like, oh, and here's the stupid fucking melody. Oh god, here come the kids. This song was driving me fucking crazy. It was 2 straight days. I almost muted the television, and if I wasn't doing other things, like, my wife was like, you need to take a break. I was fucking losing it at this song. But again, I got later into the region, and then I was like, oh, well, this version of the song's fine. This doesn't bother me at all. So for whatever reason, the full version of the Gongaga theme is fine. But when you first get there, it's the same 2 minutes. It's so fucking annoying. But yeah, I mean, like, my party's all together. I got 2 more summons in the last week. Bahamut is a motherfucker to fight. So that's the one summon I that's available in the combat simulator that I haven't unlocked yet. Bahamut is a mean son of a bitch. I feel like I'm maybe 2-3 more levels and I should be able to beat him. But I mean, dude, I spent like, I don't know, 2-3 hours the other day trying to beat him over and over and over again. And the only reason why I kept trying is every time it would be so close, like just a sliver of health, one more limit break, he'd be done. And I just couldn't fucking get there. But, I'm still really enjoying this game. I know I bitched about the mini games, which thankfully have kind of chilled out now, and I'm back to just open world funness. But yeah, I mean, I'm still having a lot of fun with it. Obviously, I'm at 110 hours, so I wouldn't be still playing it if I wasn't enjoying it.
Nailed it, I know. Moving on.
Next, It Takes Two. I've had another 3 sessions with It Takes Two.
Did you get to the part?
Yeah, I did. I didn't like that at all. I didn't enjoy it one bit.
Poor elephant.
Nope.
Yeah.
So sad.
It's awful.
So sad.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my 11-year-old son didn't like it either, let me tell you.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
But you know, I mean, I have to say, I know I was mad when this game got Game of the Year at the Video Game Awards, but I think this is like the best couch co-op game ever made. Like, as
It's
far as
so
like
good.
as far as two people sitting down, let's figure this out together. The amount of puzzles and challenges that you have to do together. You both have to do your job. You both have to understand, like, so now where I'm at is where we're stuck in the snow globe. And one person has the red half of a magnet and the other has a blue half of a magnet. And so the blue is able to pull the red and vice versa, and the red can push the red. And so we're all in all these little magnet puzzles, and it's a fucking blast, man. The game's great. So
Such a great game. Yeah.
And my 11-year-old is fucking hooked. I mean, it's like half of what he talks about all week. Are we gonna play some more It Takes Two this weekend? Yes, we'll play some more.
It's the
I
book
love
of
that.
love.
The book of love. Yeah, the book who's always like awkwardly humping the air. But no, I mean, It Takes Two is a delight. And if you have somebody that you love that you want to play a video game with, strong recommend. This is a very, very cool 2-player experience.
I still don't,
because it has to be played with
I
two
still
people.
don't agree with it beating out Resident Evil Village, Psychonauts 2, and Metroid Dread, but
Agreed. No argument there.
or even Deathloop for that matter.
No
I really
argument
enjoy
there.
Deathloop. So.
I agree. I mean, I think it got it because it's so unique. I mean, we don't get 2-player required games.
It
very
is
often.
the best kind of that game of all time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there is that.
Yeah.
It is. I think that's probably why it got the game of the year. But yeah, no, you're right. It's not better than any of those games. But it is really good. And if you're looking for a game to play with someone, a loved one, a neighbor, a friend, whoever, sit down and fire it up. And I mean, especially now, you can get the game. I mean, I think we got it on Game Pass, if I remember right. But I mean, it's also, I'm sure you can scoop it for. Yeah. So
and if even if you get it on a different platform, like if you buy it, only one person has to own it for two people to play it remotely, which is really nice.
Cool.
Same thing. It's because it's the same people who made No Way Out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same thing with No Way Out. You get like a guest pass for the second person to play.
That's another
cool.
game with some duck.
Game is amazing.
It's got some duck.
Right at the jump. Doesn't hold back.
Game's so good. It was so good.
But no, It Takes Two is great, and I'm having a ball with it. But yeah, no, it's honestly the last 2 weeks has just been a lot of Final Fantasy and a decent amount of Balatro.
Man, that went exactly as I predicted. We had so much to talk about with the games that we've been playing this week that I don't even want to do like a full proper one up. I just want to I want to touch base. I think that was a great episode, guys. We got a lot in. I feel all caught up. Thank God. Kim, any final thoughts? Any closing thoughts as we wrap up this week's episode?
Yeah, just something so quick. So, Fallout 4 got the next gen update today. And apparently it's being very well received. It looks amazing. If you don't have Fallout 4, because the update is free, if you want Fallout 4 Game of the Year edition and you don't have it, it is $8 on Instant Gaming. And you can get Fallout 4 Game of the Year, you install it on Steam, and then you update, and it updates it to the next gen graphics. And it's getting very, very great. The reception is really good. So yeah, I just wanted to say on Instant Gaming, $8.
And I believe it's also on PlayStation Plus and Game Pass.
That's correct.
Oh, awesome.
If you have either of those, fire it up.
Yeah.
See what you think. For me, Fallout never really got its claws in me. I tried several times and never really got hooked.
I love the Fallout games.
I know.
Well,
so many people tell me how much they love them
now because of the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the one thing I was going to touch on, is that I'm 3 episodes into the Fallout show, and like, man, we've got a nice little run of like decent live action video game adaptations now. On the back of The Last of Us, we have Fallout, and I think the show's better than the game. I mean, the show is awesome. I am really, really impressed with what they've done with the show. Little bit of a trigger warning, because my wife is not a big fan of like gory violence. This show is gory as fuck.
Very, very gory.
If you're not down with like, somebody firing a gun and somebody's head explodes in slow motion, you probably don't want to watch this show. That shit doesn't bother me one bit, and it's a part of the reason why I like the show so much. But no, my wife was like, no, I don't want to watch this. Let's watch something else.
I know a few people who were kind of turned off by it. I was expecting it because I mean, I played all the games and not for
Right.
nothing, but and you use the VAT system and you target somebody's head, their head explodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of expecting it, but my theory is people don't really expect it in series still. If it was a movie, it's kind of more expected, but I think when something is a TV show, I think people still aren't quite expecting such gore. But I love it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I'm a Fallout game lover, and I really thought the show was a lot of fun and really well done, and yeah, it has a really great ending. That makes me very excited for next season.
I certainly did not have pregnant woman with a fork sticking out of her eye firing off a machine gun on my bingo card. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're into heavy gore and shows, I know this one is not game related at all, but Shogun just wrapped its season.
We're on episode 6.
Oh, the cannons.
I'm only on like 2, but it's really good.
I've watched the whole thing.
So
it's
good.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. That wraps up episode 156 of your Paragamer podcast. We will, of course, be back again next week, I promise, with another great episode of the Paragamer podcast for you to enjoy. Until that time, I'm Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny Paulus.
And I am Kim, hooked on once human.
Put some pants on.
No, you can't tell me what to do.
Tune in next time. Take care. Now Johnny's off it. He's off the mark. He'll catch you on the flip flop. Ooh yeah. And anime girl for Kim.
Bad.
Yeah, I was waiting.
No, he's distracted. It's fine.
It will.
We'll see you next week.
Oh, sorry.